John Fraser, NRA ILA's Director of Research and Information. Thanks so much for coming on the program tonight, sir.
Always a pleasure, Cam.
All right. I know we have a lot of gun bills that have already been introduced in the new session of Congress, and we know that there are more to come. What can you tell us about what we've seen so far?
Well, it's been a busy couple of days already. The House allowed bills to be introduced this past week, and then they're out of session for a few days. The Senate isn't allowing introduction of legislation such as Senator Feinstein's much-awaited massive gun ban bill. Until January 22nd. But we've already seen legislation proposed by anti-gun House members like Carolyn McCarthy, magazine bans, gun show regulations, ammunition regulation, and other things.
It seems at this point, I saw one of the gun bloggers earlier today say it seems like the effort is to throw everything out there and see what, if anything, sticks.
I think that's absolutely correct. Strategically, I think their thought is, the public may support gun control now, so let's try to pass every kind of gun control there is. It is not a narrowly focused strategy.
And so to that end, I mean, we're talking about everything from de facto national gun registration. Senator Feinstein has talked about, a national registration system for semi-automatic firearms. We've seen these gun bans introduced in places like Illinois at the state level that would include everything from pump-action shotguns to 1911 pistols. John, I got to be honest with you. I mean, even going back to the mid-1990s, I'm not sure we've seen this this volume of anti-gun legislation?
I think you would have to go back to the 1990s. No one is currently proposing a repeal of the Second Amendment, which is something that we always saw in the early 90s, early to mid-90s at least, Major Owen's old bill. But we've certainly seen, basically in the last few weeks, we've seen everything talked about now that was ever talked about in the mid or late 90s, whether it was in the Brady bill, Clinton gun ban period of 93, 94, or whether it was in the juvenile justice debates of 1999 and 2000.
Yeah, and so at this point, John, what is the Institute for Legislative Action's message to gun owners?
Well, we are gearing up for an all-out battle on these issues at the federal and state level. Gun owners should be prepared for the long haul, but it's a long haul that's going to start soon, you could see gun bills being proposed as amendments in the House or Senate within the next couple weeks, and people should right now deliver a clear message to their members of Congress to oppose restrictive new gun laws and to try to address some real issues here, whether it's mental health, criminal justice, or other things that could get at the real causes of violence in America.
Yeah, you talk about a sustained effort here. We know that we've seen President Obama say he wants Vice President Biden's task force to give recommendations by the end of the month. We also apparently saw a quote from Vice President Biden himself saying that the president wanted to get something passed by the end of the month. You referenced as well gun control advocates, groups like the VPC, I think have gone on the record as saying that, while emotions are high, basically, to paraphrase Rahm Emanuel, don't let a crisis go to waste.
Right. Well, it's ironic, as someone pointed out to me the other day. It's ironic that the people who argued for years that you should have a waiting period to allow people to cool off before buying a gun don't support the same principle when it comes to passing legislation in the wake of a tragedy.
Absolutely. Well, listen, John, I know we're going to be talking a lot once Congress really starts ramping up, but thank you so much for coming on the program this afternoon, sir.
My pleasure, Cam. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. John Fraser, NRA ILA's Director of Research and Information, joining us here on Cam and Company.